Hey everybody, it's John Cruz here, Worldwide Auctioneers, and welcome to another episode of Worldwide TV. Here again with Travis Levine. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you, thank you. Thanks for having me again.
Absolutely. And what we're talking about now is what it takes to prep a car when you're going to a Concours d'Elegance. And behind us we have the 1923 Duesenberg Model A, which of course we always are talking about Model J Duesenbergs. We love them, and we should. But the precursor to that is really a wonderful car. And you've had this car in your shop a little bit.
Sure.
To get it ready for showing. What is that? What is that like?
It's usually, first off, you have an analysis phase, right? You need to see what are the issues and kind of go through and make your checklist of how you're going to approach resolving said issues for that show. And on this particular car, first of all, this is an absolutely stunning car. I would just like to point that out first. Millspaw and Irish body, Indianapolis built. Really cool history. Randy Emo was a part of tearing this car out of a barn and taking it out to California. There's a lot of cool history with this car. But the really neat thing about this car was it was in really good shape when it came to us. Just had a few things that we could kind of bring back up to snuff on it. One of which is it has new nickel on it, which nickel oxidizes. It's a very soft material relative to chrome, and it requires a lot of upkeep. So this car has new nickel on it. We went through and did touch up on it, matched up paint. Didn't travel with the car. We didn't have codes, so we did spectro analysis on it to figure out and come up with new paint matches for it, and worked on a few things. Detailed the car, went through and repolished the valve cover on it, did some work in the engine bay, things like that. But really, when you prep a car for a show, you need to see what are the weakest points and then build up those. And then when you kind of bring everything up to the same level, it's how do we elevate that level as a whole beyond that. So this one was really a great car to work on. These Model A's are unbelievably great driving cars. Brakes are awesome, 88 horsepower. You get a lot of the really cool history with Duesenberg that you see in a more visceral way than in the more refined way than you do in the J's. And not to say this isn't a refined car, but you see a lot of that early racing technology and heritage.
Duesenberg brothers.
Absolutely. And it just screams Indiana and Indianapolis in particular. But this is a super cool car. Getting it prepped up was a real honor. Not a lot of people get to work on A's because there are only 20 some odd of them floating around really anymore.
Rare cars.
Very rare car, and quite frankly, in my opinion, an extremely undervalued car in the Duesenberg world. I think these are a car that should be on the up and have every bit of touring ability that a J does. They're a car, especially this touring body on this Phaeton body is just incredible. I've driven this car myself personally, and it will drive, and it's smooth, and it's powerful, and it just goes. And getting it ready and having that wonderful phase of test driving these cars is a very special experience for everyone you get to have, get to sit behind the wheel of. But this one in particular is just an excellent running driving car. So getting to prep it for a show and getting to take it down and getting to spend time with a wonderful owner makes this car really special. And so again, whoever's going to end up with this is going to have a lot of car on their hands and a lot of beautiful car on their hands. I mean, just the color scheme on it's spectacular. It's got great history. Again, it runs and drives so nice. The accents are great. Primary, secondary, tertiary colors are just it's a great car. So the nice thing about this is for whoever buys it, there's not going to be a whole lot of prep work that needs to be done to get it ready for their next show, which is great.
That's right.
But yeah, I mean, just, it's really just analyzing, and when you have a car like this, it makes it really easy.
Well, sometimes when we walk around a car show, a concours, or a collection, or an auction, some of the cars just pop.
Sure.
And you're like, man, that just looks great. Sure. And the presentation, which you just alluded to, is obviously this car's had that.
Sure.
But a lot of times I think we think about car shows, hey, I'm going to grab some detail, squirt, and a microfiber, and get it ready for 45 minutes or an hour and take it to the show. And we can do that, particularly if it's a cruise-in or something of that nature, but to get a car ready for showtime, a concours, and it's just another level that I don't know that everybody always thinks about.
And again, for me, that's just so second nature to think about what goes into that. But yeah, when you're preparing a car for a concours, You aren't spending a day on it. You're spending a week. You're putting 80, 100 hours into a car. It's up on a lift. You're underneath it. You're underneath the dash. You're checking wiring. You're going through every mechanical system, every electrical system. You're checking every bulb. You're making sure that everything functions accordingly. You're detailing the whole car. You're putting it through a paint correction process. You're analyzing what the paint is on there right now. I mean, there's when we talk about, I flippantly say matching colors, I mean that in and of itself is an art, to come up with color matches that are properly done and to blend in touch-ups and things like that. That's not just something you just throw it on there. That takes time and it takes patience and it takes a very skilled hand
Absolutely.
to make something work well. And that's really what's beautiful about this car, is a lot of that work's been done. There was great work done beforehand. We were lucky to get our, to put our hands on this at points in time. But yeah, when you prep a car for a show, and I apologize for kind of being short in that answer, there is an incredible amount that goes into it. And I tip my cap to the craftsmen that are out there that do this kind of prep for these shows, because it's not like going to the car wash. It is something that you are very diligently spending time going over every singular detail on that car, which again is a testament to the quality of these cars and why they're so important. I mean, they deserve that kind of time that you spend on them. So it's really a special process.
It is. And as an auctioneer, my job is to do the best I can for our consigners, and as we market the cars and prepare them. And oftentimes it's a challenge when I talk to a seller about prepping a car, and they want to do it themselves. Some of our sellers know what they're doing,
Sure.
and they're really great at
Sure.
it. A lot of us are not.
Sure.
I'll include myself in that. I'm not an expert dealer. I can't do the things that you're able to do and some of your guys are able to do. But when you go to an auction, whether it's ours or anybody's, and you see some of these great results, a lot of times, maybe even most times, it's because a seller took the time, made the investment
Sure.
of resources to really get a car to its absolute best for wherever it's at.
Sure.
And so as an auctioneer, and as you guys are watching, I encourage you to take the time, make the investment.
Absolutely.
Because when the buyers are walking around and you're like, of course we all like a bunch of cars. That's a neat car. It's a neat car. But then you're like, wow, that is
Absolutely.
a great car. And when I stand back and look at this one, and I'm listening, and we're all listening to the things that you just rattled off, you can see them. But if you're not here and you don't actually get that impact
Sure.
is still present, and you're like, wow, this is a great car. Like you really don't have anything left to do.
Sure.
But show it. Now, this car you helped prep, and which shows did you take this particular one to?
So we took this alongside the owner. I shouldn't say take. The owner's a wonderful, wonderful man. So it was a really great
absolutely.
to do that. But the car went to Boca Raton, Amelia Island, went to Chattanooga, and oh my gosh, I'm missing one more.
St. John's,
St.
maybe?
John's,
Yeah.
yes, and went to St. John's. We weren't there for that one. The owner took it along, but yeah, I mean, again, great shows. Those are obviously fantastic shows. And I will say, in Amelia in particular, it was in a Duesenberg class, which obviously, because there are only 20 some odd of these around anymore, and,
Yep.
and J's are J's. Seeing this car stand alongside J's, it stood tall amongst J's, and I love that. And again, it's a testament to the A's are, in my opinion, every bit of a car that the J's are. You get to see the design evolution, the design language, the technology, and everything that goes along by looking at a J, but you can't, you got to walk before you run, and this is really cool to see what Duesenberg started out with in the production model. And being a 23, this is obviously extremely early on in this, but it was really neat to see A's out at shows, because you rarely see, I mean, I've been around cars my whole life, and I can count on one hand the number of times that I've seen an A Duesenberg out at a show. So it's really special that it went to great shows against great competition and stood tall amongst some of the most desirable cars in the world. And in my opinion, this is an extremely desirable car. Maybe I'm biased, but it's a beautiful car. So yeah, it's been to some excellent shows. As it sits right now, this is a competitive car at any show. But again, you know, I'm very big on getting these cars out and using them. And I'm very big on the history and the artistry of these cars. So I hope whomever buys it recognizes there aren't a lot of A's that go to shows.
That's right.
And takes this thing out and takes it everywhere, because it's a spectacular car and it really truly needs to be shared with the world.
It gets the attention of multi seven-figure cars.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
people love it. They're really great.
Well, when you look at the design on this car, again, you're talking about a fairly sizable car, a really beautiful engine bay, absolutely stunning. I mean, the inline eights, I mean, it's what Duesenberg is, straight 8, right? It's what
right.
they're known for.
Yep.
It's an absolutely stunning car. You see the warmth of the nickel on this. The color scheme is great. I mean, yes, this presents extremely strongly against really strong cars. So yeah, whomever is getting this, I'm sad to see it go from the current owner's collection, because I love this car. But whomever picks this thing up is going to have a heck of a car on their hands.
They
So,
sure are. Well, I hope that as all of us think about prepping cars for shows or auctions or any other activity, that we really put a lot of thought into that, and kind of the behind the scenes of an auction. You know, you've got operational things and all the marketing things, but really it comes down to the car.
Sure.
And those that take the time and make the investment in the car are the ones that are rewarded, as this owner has done. And so we'll find out here at the auction what it brings, and we know that the next owner is going to have a lot of enjoyment. They're going
Sure.
to get a lot of looks, and that's obviously a big part of the hobby. So we will look forward to seeing everybody right here in Auburn, Indiana, Labor Day weekend, and come and check out, see which cars you think were prepped the best, and we'll see you there.
Take care.